Okay, let's try again. Te, those. Deva, demigods. Pavayantu, will please. Vaha, you. Parasparam, mutually. Pavayantaha, pleasing one another. Shreyaha, benediction. Param, the supreme. Avapsyata, you will achieve. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Purport: the demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of light, water, addictions of body and soul, of every worshipped in all yagyas as the chief beneficiary. It is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all Bhoktaram Yagyasam. Ultimate satisfaction of Yagyapati products. Performance of yagyas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yagya, all activities become purified, as it is stated in the Vedas. Ahara Shudau Sattva Shudhi, Svatva Shudau Truva Smriti Smriti Lambe, Sarva Grantinam Vipramoksha. By performance of yagya, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuff, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified, and then think of the path of liberation. Combined together lead to Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Adeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this section, Lord Krishna is describing the yagya system and the necessity of yagya. And of course, Srila Prabhupada, as always, he's putting it straight to the context. He's putting this part straight into how can we apply for in our life. As I said before Srila Prabhupada, many other commentators try to get Lord Krishna out of the Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada in his purports puts Krishna back on in the Bhagavad Gita on every page. So then you will, wherever you open it, you'll see, oh, I have to worship Krishna. Which is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, but so it might be put a bit ahead, but it is there. So I remember at some point I was discussing with someone in Romania. He was some sort of the devotee for some time. He's still trying. And he was thinking, his idea was that I'm not so sure if I want to be spiritual, so I don't have to chant Hare Krishna. So if I want to go back home, back to Godhead, then I will chant Hare Krishna, and if not, no problem. I don't have to do it. So that's a misconception that people have nowadays. Of course, the material universe is created for people who want to forget Krishna and who don't want to serve Krishna. But the way it is made, it's made in such a way that if you want anything, you have to accept Krishna to some degree. Even if you don't want Krishna to serve Krishna, you might want to eat. And the verses after, the Lord Krishna says, you want to eat, then you have to do yagya. So you don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to. And here it's explained the traditional Vedic system. And Krishna is very liberal. He says, "Oh, you don't want to worship me? You worship someone else. Okay, you worship some demigods, but you have to do some worship. Why? We will see later." And that's very interesting, because that's this morning we heard about Lord Buddha, who is somehow tricking people into Krishna consciousness. His main program is that there is no God, no problem. You don't like to worship God, no problem. Just be non-violent and worship me, who, by the way, I am also God. So that's Krishna has this kind of ways to trick people into Krishna consciousness. So this system of yagya is also a bit like this. All the Vedas are meant to eventually lead people to Krishna consciousness. I remember in Madhurya Kadambini, it's described that karma and jnana, they depend on bhakti for the results. So if you want to do some karma kanda sacrifices or jnana kanda or something, you want to attain some results, then there has to be some bhakti somewhere. There has to be something. Srila Prabhupada, for example, in karma kanda, there's always some om. You cannot have any mantras without om, which represents Krishna. And there's always some Vishnu mantras, something. So this section is actually purifying, because there are some elements of bhakti. You cannot do karma kanda without some pinch of bhakti, some sort of bhakti. It has to be there. I remember I was in this Mayavadi ashram they didn't even know they are Mayavadis. And they were doing many things, like they were doing, sometimes they had festivals and they had kirtans. So they had Durga kirtan, they had Shiva kirtan, they had this kirtan, that other kirtan, which is good. It's not exactly our philosophy. Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, that Kirtanam should be to worship Lord Vishnu. But it's still purifying. And they had these elements of, they had this concept of karma yoga, which was almost the karma yoga described in Bhagavad Gita, but it was missing Krishna. But there was some idea that they do for some guru who was not connected to Krishna. But anyway, there was some elements. That's the point. And then they had this concept of guru bhakti, guru who was not connected to Krishna. Anyway, and every morning they had some program. They were doing some fire sacrifice, and they were chanting some. I realized after that they were chanting Vishnu Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So even though they had this very complicated system, like they were doing so many things, but actually the most interesting thing which was happening in that ashram, they had these widows, and they had this idea that you have to elevate the widows, and they would pay them. And then, because they didn't have any financial income or something, they were paid, and they would come to the ashram or whatever, and they would chant 2 hours Hare Krishna. They were clapping and chanting Hare Krishna. Probably that was the most spiritual activity which was happening there. So anyway, the whole point and then I was living there for like almost 6 months, So I was learning all these elements, and then for me, when I got to read the Bhagavad Gita, for me it was like, okay. So Bhakti Yoga is everything that I learned, but there has to be some Krishna. And Karma Yoga is everything that I learned, detached, with attention, but there has to be some Krishna. And and Kirtan is everything nice, music instrument, but there has to be some Krishna. So the whole Vedic system is very useful because, I mean, that was my experience. Because first that you get purified, you chant some Om, you chant some Vishnu Sahasranam, you chant some mantras, you will chant. You have no choice if you live in this system. And you have the elements, and you just do easy switch. Like I was chanting 5 years. I was chanting every morning. I had my japa. I was chanting some mantra, something like Om Namah Shivaya. I was chanting every day Om Namah Shivaya. So when I read the Bhagavad Gita and you read the Srila Prabhupada's purports, you read one purport, two purports, you understand, I have to chant Hare Krishna. At least that much I understood, from the first reading I understood, I have to change. So after a 2 days of reading Bhagavad Gita, I understood, actually I have to skip this mantra I was chanting and chant Hare Krishna. So I started chanting Hare Krishna from that day. And then very, very soon I was chanting more until I was a few weeks I was chanting 16. So that's the point. That's how probably I was not completely following the Vedic system in what I was doing before, but that's the whole idea, how this whole Vedic system is useful, and it's gradually bringing you to Krishna consciousness. Because otherwise, if I wouldn't have all these notions, I would read, mantras, what's these mantras? This karma yoga, this sounds very complicated for me. But because I had all this experience, for me it was like, okay, it's same, but just put some Krishna in it. So actually, that's the point. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, it's not here in this verse exactly, but he puts it clear, because actually all these yagyas, they are eventually meant to please Krishna, to please Lord Vishnu. There's always some Vishnu mantras, as I said. And the point is, yes, here it's described that the demigods give results. So, but we have to understand who are these demigods. Srila Prabhupada says here that they are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the demigods, they don't give benefits independently. They also give benefits on behalf of Krishna. So, of course, in the West, we don't like demigods. We're not. When we were raised, we didn't talk about Durga and Shiva and who's God and this God. Okay, but we have many times people who we think that they are giving us some benefits. We think that my boss is the boss from this corporation is giving me these benefits. This other person is giving these benefits, but actually they are all representatives of Krishna. And if you do yagya, then Krishna will arrange in some way or another that we get whatever we need. And if you don't do yagya, eventually, after some time, Yeah, yesterday I had this discussion with Ramatirtha Prabhu. There's sometimes this misconception that devotees come to Krishna consciousness, they live for some time in the temple, and then what's going to happen to them? Who takes care of them? And you can see it in most of these devotees, from a material point of view, they are usually quite well off. I know some cases, devotees were brahmacharis for some time. And I mean, of course, the temple should somehow prepare for this and support in some other ways. But even if the temple didn't support, they are really well off financially. Have big houses, have good family, good cars, good jobs, good income sources. So the point is that if you do yagya, you don't have to worry that who will maintain my family? I will chant Hare Krishna, I will serve Krishna, and what will happen to me? No problem. Krishna will provide. He provides also for the non-devotees. So why wouldn't he provide for the devotees? So that's what I saw in the lives of some devotees. You know, that you can see. Usually, when you come to the temple, you look at the cars in the parking lot. It's not. Sometimes there's also, but it's usually not so bad cars. You know. It's not these old cars and so on. Why? Because Krishna is providing everything the devotees need. Now, of course, there's also the other part that Krishna is not providing too much for the devotees sometimes. Why? Because it might be detrimental for their spiritual life. They might not be able to deal with too much opulence, so Krishna doesn't give. There's this parallel that if you have a child, a small child, and he's asking for a knife, he really wants a knife, to play with a knife. If the father is intelligent, he will not give him a knife. Here's a knife, play with a knife. Because he knows, he will cut himself. It's not good for him. So similarly, Krishna is very intelligent. He knows, this I can give, and he will not be disturbed. And this, if I give, little problem. Like Maharaj gives this example of this devotee who was a devotee for some time until he won the lottery. And after he won the lottery, he said, okay, Krishna, I have what I need. I don't want to be a devotee anymore. So usually Krishna doesn't give things that are not beneficial for us. Of course, I mean, if you sometimes you see that if devotees really insist, so Krishna says, okay, it's not good for you, but like a stupid child who's like always, I want, but it's not good for you. Okay, just try. Like Srila Prabhupada gave this example with the fan. They had this fan, and Srila Prabhupada wanted to put the the hand into the fan, and some uncle, unplugged the fan, let it cool down for some time, and then, okay, you put the hand, and he put, okay, it's not good for you. Okay, that's what I was telling you. So yeah, sometimes Krishna might give us also this experience. You really want to try? Okay, here you go. What can I do? So the point is that Krishna, if we do yagya, all the material things that we need will be provided. So we don't really need to worry about it. From my experience was that, of course, there's other discussion. What does it mean to have a good life? That's also, if you have a lot of technology, does it mean that your life improved? So yeah, I mean, I also quit my well-paid job, at least for Romanian standard, and decided to try to do something for Krishna in this life, and at every step, everything was provided. Everything that I need is provided. So there's no need to worry. No, probably prasadam is good. Nobody died of hunger in Ljubljana, in the Ljubljana temple. So, what's the problem? But of course, the purpose of the yaga is not to get some material benefits. And Srila Prabhupada also states this in the purport, that actually the point of yaga is that we want to get purified, and we want to please Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. But anyway, the Vedas are Lord Krishna's bridge preaching. Nowadays, devotees are trying different methods how to bring people to Krishna consciousness. But this is the original bridge preaching, the Vedas. Lord Krishna is trying to encourage people in different way to do something which will get them purified, and then which will increase their faith in the Vedas. And eventually they get karma yoga, karma, jnana, and eventually they will get to bhakti, because there's an element of bhakti hidden in the Vedas everywhere. So, of course, this Vedic system is very slow, and also these yagyas are very complicated to do. Everything in Karma Kanda is very complicated, and I have no idea how complicated it is, but I heard it's complicated. And we're not. It's not applicable anymore. The concept is there, but if you want to follow Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and to gradually get elevated to Bhakti Yoga, this is very slow, and you probably will get it wrong at some point. So that's why Lord Chaitanya says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kyamalam, Kalau Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gatiranyata. In this age, there's no other way. You cannot... we probably have trouble lighting the fire with matches, and and we need this and camphor and this. Otherwise, we cannot even light the fire. So, and probably our pronunciation is worse than the pronunciation of this Brahmana in South India who was reading Bhagavad Gita, and he was supposed to be illiterate. Illiterate means, as far as I understand, that he had a better pronunciation than we do. That's what it meant to be illiterate, you know. So it's not feasible that we go through all this process, but we can engage in this Sankirtan Yagya. Lord Chaitanya came and gave us the chanting of Hare Krishna, and he gave, Srila Prabhupada came and brought it to the West, and it's simple. You just chant Hare Krishna. You follow some regulative principles, you take prasadam, and you preach. If you have energy, you go out and preach. And that's it. And then you get all the benefits of all the yagyas. And and then don't need to worry, like you're doing yagya, so everything will be provided. There's this, I'll just tell this, many times devotees worry about their financial, who will maintain them, And there's this verse in Bhagavad Gita, 9:22. It says that, I'll just read the translation. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack. and I preserve what I have. So there's this story. There's this Brahmana, and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he got to the verse, because here Krishna says to them, I carry what they lack. I personally. He says personally. So he's like, no, this is wrong. There's some error in the Bhagavad Gita. So he cuts this carry, and he says something like, I arrange. Something. I don't come personally, like. And so he does this. He corrects the Bhagavad Gita. He says, oh, Bhagavad Gita is good, but this part, it's a bit too much said. So he corrects this, and he just forgets about it. And one day he goes away, and his wife is at home, and she hears a knock on the door. Boom, 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 and the two young boys come and say, "Oh, we came to brought your husband sent us with some vegetables. Okay, we came to bring everything that you need." And they, yeah. Okay, thank you. Come in. No, we're in a hurry because he's very violent. He was beating us. Look what we have on our back and our scratches, And no, we have to run very, very fast. And then this Brahmana comes home, and his wife is like, really, what are you doing? These very nice boys, they came, they brought some food for you, some boga, and you are beating them. No, what boys? What's happening? And then he realized what happened. Like that. Actually, when Krishna says that was Krishna and Balaram, they brought some surprise, and they were a bit upset that he cut this part. They said, no, I personally take care. So yeah, that's the point. That we just have to do yagya, and everything will be provided. Of course, the point is that we have to develop love for God. But if you worry about material things, then don't worry. Krishna will personally give whatever we need. All right, I'll just stop here. If there's some questions, concerns, Maharaj, if you want to say something. Okay. All right. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Still want to stay, please be present. If the beat pulls us to dance, we will dance. But my Guru used to say, first learn how to dance within. The external dance comes when the ecstasy is so filling that it oozes out of you.